Let me ask you a question, and I want you to leave it down below in the comment. What got you into the industry, or what is attracting you to be in the industry? You know, a lot of you guys, it's, my first job at a fast food joint, my first job at the local diner. I'm leaving, I'm getting out of college, I want to go into culinary. Why do you want to go into industry? And for those of you that are in the industry, what got you into it? I myself am not at all, I didn't get into it for the food aspect of it. I didn't get into it for wanting to learn how to cook. I don't have these stories of like, when I was in high school, I used to cook for my friends all the time and I thought, how cool. None of that shit. My experience with food was really just, if it was at home, it was like what I could put in the oven, what I could put in the microwave, toaster oven, that was it. And then at work, it was like, where's the nearest store? That was it. That's my whole experience with cooking, basically my whole life. I could do like some scrambled eggs. I remember I used to try doing eggs over easy. I learned the first time I saw someone do that, it was with like a little bit, you splash water and create a steam. But mine would always come out soggy. I'd put way too much. I put way too much water. It doesn't matter. But the point is, I didn't get into the industry out of some passionate, any passionate reasons like that. I got into it out of necessity. Anyway, the point to all this is that I'm willing to bet that most people get into cooking one reason or another, for the creative aspect of it, for the wanting to learn how to cook, wanting to be able to do things. Maybe later you want to, that's later down the road if you want to be like a personal chef, but I think for the most part, people join the industry for creative reasons. And the truth is, you're going to learn really quickly, especially if you're getting in and you haven't been in there. You learn techniques, you learn how to do dishes, but let me tell you something. Once you learn everything, like the first 2 weeks, that's kind of where it ends. And then depending on where you're at, you're either just repeating the process over and over and over and over. Like, how many times can I make kimchi before it's like, I'm not going to say that I'm an expert on kimchi, but more or less, I get it. I get what's going on. How about stock? You can learn how to make stock, and more or less you figure out, that with a stock, it's pretty flexible. You can, it's about finding your right mirepoix, and it's about finding the great other additional. It just depends where you want to go with it. I was having this conversation with my chef where there's just not a lot of that sort of creativity when you're working in a kitchen. You're doing another person's recipes. You got to do it their way. No one gives a fuck how you did in your own place, or you did it before, or if it's right, or if it's wrong, or if it's it's not your fucking restaurant. That's it. If you don't like it, they'll just tell you, peace out. Some places are more open-minded, if there's a more efficient way to send out a dish, but that's about it. Usually things that have to do with quicker prep time, smaller prep times, getting food out faster, that stuff will be prioritized. But as far as like, you're not going to be convincing like many places, like, we should get a sous vide, menu changes. Again, maybe you're working in a place that doesn't really offer menu changes. Like, how many, the creativity that I think people expect just isn't there. Okay? But you got to consider your time at a restaurant. Like, that's you building up your repertoire of skills. You're practicing these skills. So hopefully, when that time comes, if that time comes that it's time for the next step, whether it's you become a personal chef or you go run your own kitchen, you have all this wealth of experience, which is another reason why it's not always good if you are like, if the last 10 years it's just been one restaurant. Where's the you just have one restaurant like that, it doesn't. I feel like your skills might be a little limited, or what but it's try different things. That's why. Anyway, but there's one thing in the kitchen where you can express your creativity. You can practice different techniques. You can definitely like go to YouTube or pick up a cooking magazine and maybe try to replicate it. There is a way you can take full advantage of the kitchen where you're at for your own personal reasons, and just the satisfaction of feeding other people. That I like that. As I've grown into this industry 7 years in, one of my favorite things to do is I love feeding people. I get so much pleasure from that. But what I'm getting at is family meal. I know some places don't do family. So if your place doesn't do family, I'm really sorry for you. I am so sorry that your place doesn't do family. It's a fucking shame. Some places do family meal, but then it's like a prep menu. A salad, a chicken salad, or a chicken salad as a wrap. Fish and chips, a burger. Trying to think of just these the only time I ever came across like a employee menu was at hotel kitchens, but I'm sure they're trying to keep their food costs super low. Again, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that I'm sorry if you work in a situation where you have an employee menu and that's what it is. What a crock of shit. Fuck that. I say fuck that in terms of what you're not getting much out of. And we got fish and chips for an employee. What? Maybe you'll try a different seasoning this time. It's like, I brought some Old Bay from home and I sprinkled it on the chip. Hope you like it. But family meal, dude. I love family meal. And I take that shit so serious. I think it's so disrespectful. Incredibly disrespectful when anyone, I don't care if you're a chef or you're a cook, makes family meal, but you can tell it was just to get it out of the way. You can tell they're quick and easy. And sometimes these fucking cooks, they're okay with that. Sometimes these fucking and it's fucked up. I knew this guy, he legit, anytime you'd ask him to do family meal, you knew it was going to be that cold pasta bullshit. We'd have pasta that we use for mac and cheese stored in third base, in third pans. And what would he do? Oh, I'm doing family meal, chef. Okay, so he gets a big bowl, dumps an entire third pan of pasta, chops up some cold vegetables, puts some like vinaigrette or oil, salt, pepper. Okay, done. Like literally 15 minutes. Fuck you. Like you're fucking feeding people. For some people, that's the only meal they fucking are gonna get for a whole day, and your bummy piece of shit, raggedy ass fucking clothing, don't even take care of yourself, talking shit behind people's back. You want to go and be like, quick and easy, and then you won't even eat your own fucking food? I can't stand those kind of people. And then there's the other type where it's like, well, we're just gonna, again, quick and easy shit. They just throw shit on, and it's like, really? I'm not saying you need to make these mind-blowing fucking things. Look, if you're not following me on Instagram, hop on over on Instagram at a hoe named Sway. Look at my feed. My feed is family meal. Now, everything you see in that, it'll repeat. There's a lot of taco pictures, I worked for the last 3 years, I worked at a place that served like Korean meets Jewish food with like a California vibe to it. And I know that's really fucking weird. But the first time I went into the walk-in and having to do family meal, first off, it was the first restaurant that I'd ever had a family meal, which is kind of fucked up. The first restaurant didn't do that. It was small and the hours weren't long enough. And my chef would tell me about it, but I didn't understand it. Then the second restaurant I was in, they had employee menus. Third restaurant I was in, employee menu. Fourth restaurant I was in, they had family meal, but it wasn't for front of house staff. It was only for back of house staff, and usually it was like leftovers. And it wasn't until the restaurant group that I'm at now where not only you walk in, look, the only thing they're gonna ask you not to like touch is say like this, like the expensive steaks. Other than that, you want to do chicken, that's fine. You want to do, usually it's chicken or ground beef. At least in the last restaurant I was in, it was those two proteins. There was a time where we did pork for a little bit because we had just so much pulled pork. But in the beginning, it's kind of hard. You go into this walk-in and you see all these raw ingredients, and you have 30 minutes to create a meal for 20 people. In the beginning, I just would tag along with the more experienced cooks, and I'd kind of just see what they would do. The first time the chef asked me, it was like my first day there. The chef asked me to make family meal. I don't want to say I freaked the fuck out, but I stressed the fuck out, and I didn't know what to make. And I shouted another guy. I'm like, hey, can you help me? I haven't done this before. And he's like, yeah, we'll do something easy. And when he said easy, he actually made some pretty good, he made like mac and cheese, and then he like cooked off some some bacon bits, and then put panko on top, baked it. I mean, like, it came out really fucking good. And that was 30 minutes. Easy doesn't necessarily have to mean shit. It could just be something one time eventually I got into this habit of an hour before work, I would think about the ingredients that we have. I'd think about the proteins that we have, the different types of food, and I would just like make my own versions of things. I'd look up online. I don't read things like 1 cup, 2 cup, I just look at what's the protein, what are the vegetables, what are the spices that go into it, and then I just figure out the ratios myself. I've done, let's see, on one of my pictures, I did Taco Bell Crunchwrap Supremes. Came out exactly like the real thing. I've done, what did I do? I did loaded baked potatoes once, loaded mashed potatoes, beef stroganoff. That was a hit. I mean, I've done a lot of different things. I've fumbled a lot too. Having to make oatmeal for 20 people, I was very new at that, and I didn't know, like, fuck, how much do I do? And so I over-seasoned it, and it came out a little too salty. I don't think anyone ate family meal that day. It was kind of embarrassing. But even if I wanted to do something like a salad, there's still an effort that I put into it. It's just about putting effort. I 100% feel that it's a respect thing. When you put out family meal, you're feeding your coworkers, you're feeding people, you're setting them up for the day, for the shift that's about to happen. And for you just to fucking go and dump some fucking oil, some salt and pepper onto some fucking cold ass food, Or I had one where the chef's like literally just like, okay, cook off 10 pounds of ground beef. There's the pasta at the last restaurant was like, if I saw pasta, you're either doing some really creative shit or you don't give a fuck. And you're just like, we just don't have time. That's what irks me about this kind of shit, which goes back to why the fuck do people even come in this industry? People come into the industry, I'm guessing, because at some point they saw someone that they admire, or they saw something, they're like, fuck, man, I want to do that. Or like me, you learn, you grow in love with the industry, and you like the skills and the ability to, I can go to anybody's house, look at what they have in their pantry, look at what they have in their fridge, and I can make a fucking bomb-ass meal. And that only happened because I have years of practice doing family meal. You fumble a lot, you make mistakes, but that's what family, in a way, that's how you can make family meal work for you. It can be your time to shine, and find out like what works, what ingredients work, what ingredients don't work. I remember once I wanted to do like a salad, but I wanted kale chips in the salad. I had no idea how much kale I actually needed to make a reasonable amount for a salad. In my head, I thought like, oh man, like sprinkles some chips on top, like some kale chips on top of the salad. I bet that would be bomb. You have it, you got that crunch, and I didn't, and it terrible idea. You know, I'm sure if I go back to it, I could probably refine it. But again, it's like a 30-minute challenge. Some instances, you have an hour challenge. If you're new, if you have that creative bone in your body, if you're fresh and you still have that like excitement to do something, do family meal. It's the most important fucking meal you'll ever put out in the kitchen. If you don't have family meal, I fucking feel for you. But for me, family meal is more than just the food. It's more, it's another way of expressing yourself to other people. You know, when I go in there, I try to be the best version of myself. I'm funny, I'm empathetic. I don't like to go on breaks until I've checked in with all the staff to make sure, hey, do you guys need anything before I go take a 10-minute break? That's just what I do. That's not like, no one, chef didn't tell me to do that. No one's told me to. I feel that's the right thing to do. And making food for someone else, I don't know, man. Like, look, if you want to, I'll feed myself ramen. I'll put ramen, cook it, maybe, you know, quick, easy shit. But I'm not going to fucking do that for my kids, for my wife, for my friends. Why would I do that for my coworkers? And even if I didn't like them, it doesn't matter. Because that's not a representation of who I am. I'm not going to put out some bullshit just to, oh, fucking out. It's fucking out. I hope the trigger is palpable. You know, I'm not mad. I'm just passionate about this shit. And it's just fucking gross how there's some people that don't respect it. And I think that there's people watching that aren't aware that that's a great thing you can take advantage of. For a time, I only wanted to do family meal. Because every time it was like, I'd be like, okay, so next week I want to try doing the kimchi. I read about these like kimchi grilled cheese sandwiches that they have in Korea. Street food. And so I fucking did that. You know? And it was fucking bomb, and no one was like, what the fuck with kimchi and grilled cheese and meat. It was so good. It was so much fun. Look at my family meal pictures on Instagram. You don't have to follow me if you don't want to. I encourage you to, but you don't have to. That feed is what it looks like when you give a fuck about the people you work with. It's not about me and my pride and like, what I can do, guys. We had a sous chef. He came in, and the first day, hey, could you do family meal for us? And he made family meal, but it took him 3 fucking hours to do it. Because he was trying to give us this, he was trying to make like meatballs by hand and this beautiful pasta. And then he got like these other little, like he come from fine dining. So he was trying to give us this like little 3-course, like, dude, stop. You've already taken too long. The employees, like by the time the food came out, no one was like, oh my God, look at this spread. Everyone was like, I needed this shit like 3 hours ago, homie. Family meal, bro. Like, it fucking matters. It matters. And it's the few creative outlets that you as a cook are going to have in the kitchen. Because you're not going to be doing whatever the fuck you want when you're on the line. You're not going to be doing whatever the fuck you want when you're prepping. You're following instructions. You're following a recipe. It is not your restaurant to go around fucking flipping shit around. It's not your restaurant to go around making menu changes. And even when there's menu changes, it's nice. Like when the menu changes, I think this Saturday, we're introducing 3 new menu items in the new restaurant where I'm in, and it's starting tomorrow. So when I come back, today's my Friday, so when I come back Saturday, it's going to be 3 new items, and that's going to be fun. You know why? Because usually when we get like new menu items that we're going to add, that first week, it's just the tweaks, figuring it out, what goes well, what doesn't go well, does it need more salt, more sugar, does it need more acidity, that's the fun. But then what happens? It just becomes every other dish, and we need that shit out fast. So, family meal is that one little outlet of creativity. And if you're new, you're going into it, if you're in the industry for the cooking, for the creativity, for that sort of experience, jump on fucking family meal. And if you work in a place that doesn't do family meal, but is kind of, look, at the hotel kitchen I was at, they didn't do fucking family meal. But on Sundays, it was the sous chef. And the sous chef, he didn't give a shit. Me and my guy, Jesus, man, we'd fucking go in there like I remember one time I saw Gordon Ramsay, one of the hotels he has in Vegas, has like this burger wrapped in bacon with arugula and, a reduced balsamic glaze. And it was Sunday, and we're like, bro, we should try and do that. And that's what we did. We spent like, like an hour just like tweaking, figuring out how do we do this, how do we do. It was fun. Just like cooking should be fun. There's not a lot of like that kind of fun at work. But if you can find a way to be creative with your food, be creative with a dish that you can put out to, take advantage of it. It's so much fun. This is more than just a job. It's more than just techniques and skills and knife skills and how much you can multitask and how fast you can put those tickets out. There's a sliver of creativity. There's an open little space of creativity, and not enough people see it for what it really is. An opportunity to expand your fucking mind, expand your palate, and just become an overall better cook. How cool is it that you could go to someone's house, go to a new kitchen, and just look at raw ingredients, and in 30 minutes you can at least think of 3 dishes you can make that you would be proud of to serve. You know how cool it is when the owner comes, he's just checking on things, and he just goes to see what they made for family meal, and he doesn't say shit. He just grabs himself a little bit of food and goes to his office. We're fuck out of here. That's a compliment right there. You know how cool it is when people know that you're coming in and you're the one doing family meal, and they get pumped for it. I went in one morning. I was covering a morning for one of my friends, and everyone was telling me, he's like, dude, literally all I make for the past 6 months has been fucking soup. And what's the protein? Chicken wings. Soup, chicken wings. Soup, chicken wings. Soup, chicken wings. Oh, tortilla soup with chicken wings. I said, fuck that shit. What did I do? Me and this other kid who has that passion, has that drive. He thought, like, this is fucking boring. Can we do something fun? I didn't come up with something crazy. You know what I did? I just did some fried rice and orange sesame chicken. Like we have we have 1 ounce chicken bits for sliders, and we just took a full third pan, and then they came out so fucking good. It was like, yeah, it was like legit Chinese food, and that idea only came because I was driving to work, and I just thought, like, man, I'm fucking craving, like, Panda Express sounds really good. Or sometimes I'm thinking, like, man, you know what? In-N-Out burger sounds good. So I'll make we don't have fries at work. We have like these like potato chunks. We call them chips, but they're just like, it's like chunks of potatoes. And I made my version of animal fries because we had caramelized onions. We had kimchi mayo. We don't have their special sauce. We have slices of cheese, and we have potatoes. Almost cut up, think like home fries, but like a little bigger. It was it was my version of animal fries, and you know what? It was a hit. So I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna wrap this up. Family meal. It matters. Don't be a piece of shit and cheaping out on it and fucking like, fuck you, dude. Like, how many years like these fucking chefs have been, working kitchens and all that, but for a meal, a 30-minute meal, that they just can't. That's just too fucking much for their little brains to handle. Like, I don't have time for that. This is just quick and easy. Fuck you, bro. Like, how full of shit are you? You know, I had meatloaf yesterday. I don't think meatloaf is a complicated dish to make, but it was so good. I can taste it. We could have sold that shit. You know? We made chili cheese fries the night before. That shit was bomb. They're just frozen crinkle fries. We just, but you taste the chili. You can tell that they were like going for different seasonings and flavor. It wasn't just like, oh, meat, cheese, so, paprika. And have some respect for yourself and have some respect for other people. Okay? If you're not doing family meal, sorry, man. You really are missing out. And if you're doing family meal, keep it up. Keep up the good work if you're giving a shit. If the I don't have time crew is checking in, this one's for you. And if you're getting into the industry, you're new, get your feet wet, man. Get in there. Try to do some family meal. It's awkward at first. Maybe team up, make it a team thing. Maybe one guy, maybe if you wanted to do like pasta, it's like, hey, can you cook off the ground beef? I'll start the pasta going and I'll make a sauce and then some, make it a group thing. It's a great group activity. It's a great way to hone your skills. It's a great way to put your creativity in practice. That way, in other situations, you go to a new kitchen, you go to a friend's house, you go holiday, you make these connections of what goes and what doesn't based on experience, not on what you fucking read in a book.